Hold on. Hold on. Go ahead.
All right, everyone. Hello. My name is Miriam Smith Stevens, aka the Brand Paramedic, and I want to thank Elton and Elizabeth Bruinton for allowing me an opportunity to share with you all today. I love to be able, before I get into it, I want to see everybody. Can we change it to a gallery view so I can see everybody on here? Let's
Yeah.
see. Okay, I see you all. I want to see us all. This is going to be an interactive speech, new for me. So I'm going to thrive if you all talk to me in the chat, raise your hand, show some virtual emojis and things. Matter of fact, let's test it out now. Here we are at the react button, and that is beside the chat, and in between raise your hand. I'm gonna put on my little let's soar button. Let's see who else can join in the fun. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate you. Come on, other people. First of all, you got to come on camera so that we can say it. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you. Thank you. So Reginald and Linda and Chris J, if y'all can come on camera, that'll be wonderful. All right. So we're gonna go. And I have my slide director and navigator will be Sonia, all the way from Australia. I want to give her a shout out. Thank you, Sonia, for being so gracious to work with me on this situation. And I am going to work on uh, actually staying within the time that was allotted. That's going to be a great test. Okay, so again, thank you so much, Puritans, for allowing me this opportunity. And I'm Miriam. I am the CEO and the founder of the Thankful Revolution, aka the Brand Paramedic. And I help people, entrepreneurs, new to the business, people in transition to find their soul song, as well as to rewrite their story, reclaim their voice, and help them with their brand messaging. Those are some of my whys and what gives me joy. So I'm going to ask everybody a question right off the bat. When shift happens, and it does, what now? What do you do? And that's what I'm talking about today. Shift has happened. So now what? What do we do? Let's bring it into the reality of what's going on in this day and age, 2025. Shift has happened globally. What we're talking about, economy, is unstable in some parts. You got 1 in 3 workers are burnt out and dissatisfied. And then you got like 60% of Americans, they fear they won't be able to retire because their funds are being taken in other areas, whether it's taking care of their older parents that are living longer. I have folks now that friends group, my mama just turned 90. My stepdad is about to turn 89. My other friend groups, daddy's about to celebrate his 93rd birthday, and her mom just celebrated his 96th birthday. And I got some friend groups where we got 103 and 101-year-old parents living. And our retirement is going towards assisting them, because that's what we're going to do as children. We're going to make sure our parents are taken care of. So maybe our retirement is being impacted. And you know what? Anxiety and depression is now being impacted as well. 4 out of 10 people, adults, are feeling that, more depressed, more anxiety, more stress. And then we got relationships, the woes of that, health, mental anguish, mental abuse. All of this stuff is being tested in 2025 like never before. So, yeah, shift has happened. What are we going to do? Now what? I asked that question in October well, actually in May of last year, because shift happened for me. And I had to ask, what do I do now? But I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on me. I was raised in a household filled of love, faith, music. From a young age, I just was naive enough to believe if God said it's gospel. I believe God. And so that was me. I believed that everything was possible. And I was a dreamer, a singer, or I thought I could sing, a writer, and a believer. And, I was always kind of my mama would tell you I was a renegade in a way, stubborn. Um, and I just, did my own path, right? But then my belief system was tested October 24th, 2008. So 2008. And that's the day my life has changed permanently. The trajectory of my life went out the door. Well, actually came in the door. An unknown assailant decided that I was their target for that morning. And I got choked out when I tried to scream, to the point where my last thought was, I guess this is what it means to die. Because literally, I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe anymore. Lights was out. I'm here. You're not talking or seeing a ghost. I'm here. I didn't die that day. But what awokened after I came out of whatever that darkness was really a zombie. This was a person that was a shell of a person. My son had to come back from his freshman year in college, from our alma mater, and a series of losses occurred. Now, talk about insult to injury. Here you got somebody attacking me, my body, my home, my privacy. And then to compile upon that, shift happened because I lost my lucrative, almost six-figure job. I lost my dream car, and we were staring at an eviction notice. Homelessness was right there for us. Income was gone, no retirement, nothing. Everything started happening in my life. And I was like, really? Now what? I couldn't even be strong for me. I couldn't even be that person of faith that I claimed to be, because I didn't have nothing in me. And so I did the therapies. I went through the counseling and things I was supposed to do. But I was just laying there like dead. I was starting my own zombie apocalypse movie. And so what happened one day, I got hungry. And we didn't have much money left. I asked my son to dig in the purse, I digged in my purse, looked in the cushion, and I really was hungry after a cup of soup. And I know y'all probably tripping like, soup, really? I wanted one of them like 79 cents. At that time, back in the day, it was not that much. So we found and scraped up enough cents to get that cup of soup. And I needed that. And he put it in the microwave. You tear off the little top, you pour the water in, then you put it in there, and the little ramen noodles puff up. You got the little dried peas and carrots. And that's what I wanted. And he brought it to me. And I'm looking like, death warmed over, and I'm like, look, can you just pray for me? And he did, which was really interesting, because sometimes you might ask your child or your children to do something for you, and they're gonna give you, especially because he was into video games, still is. I was impeding upon him, first of all, to get me a cup of soup, and then to pray for me. But he did, and he began to pray, because he must have known we were in a dire situation. Lord, please help my mama. And I don't know what happened, but that same place where the attack happened, in my bedroom, something stirred in me. Something came up out of my belly. Something roared. And I screamed, Lord, thank you for this cup of soup. And I'm looking at my son, who's standing over me. And I'm looking at, and if I could probably look at me like a fly on the wall, I was like, what just happened? And whatever was in me, that contrite deadness state that was in me, was broken. And we just started laughing. We cracked up. We were just laughing so hard, tears was flowing down. And whatever that depression was broke from me. And from that day, that cup of soup, it was not just a meal that I was hungering for. It was a change. It was a pivot. It was a new life that I needed. And that's what God said. Hey, I didn't even leave you. I'm here. And hence the Thankful Revolution was born that day. So let's talk about what this means for me and what this might mean for you. I'm going to offer up some things about what it means to pivot and what it means to become unleashed into your purpose. And I'm a teacher's daughter and a lawyer's daughter. And so if y'all got pen and paper, y'all might want to take some notes, because I do acronyms. I am the acronym queen. So I'm going to share some things out of what it means, because pivot is just not a reaction. It's really a strategy. It's a conscious decision to change directions when the current one no longer suits you. And so it means taking ownership, getting skills, seeking clarity, and choosing courage over comfort. And so let's break down what pivot means. P, first part is pause and acknowledge where you are. 85% of people report being disengaged from their lives. And one of the keys that happened for me and moving forward, awareness begins with honesty. I had to get real with it. I had to stop masking how I was feeling. I don't know if you've ever heard this. Maybe you said it today. People say, "How you doing?" And you say, "Fine." Automatic response, knowing you're not fine. And you started naming, and I had to name what is actually going on with me. So one of the strategies I would offer is a 5-minute timer. Sit in silence, really, maybe at the beginning of each of your day. Check in with your emotional self, check in with your health, check in with your mental state. How are you really doing? What's really going on in your mind? And I'm a writer, so I would offer journal. Put your top 3 emotions out there when you ask that question. So I'm going to ask, remember, audience engagement is key. Type one word, and this is a safe space. If you feel free and comfortable, do that for me. Type in one word that describes what you've been pretending is fine. And we're going to look at it. Let's see. For me, giving a speech. I know that's not one word, but that's my word. Giving this speech today. If y'all know the shift that had happened in my life prior to trying to do this thing, woo! What else? What's a word that you all might have said today? Oh, I'm fine, but goodness well, you're not fine. Somebody type in the chat. What are you pretending about? What do you think? When's the last time you actually got quiet with yourself? Because I know we some busy people. We all busy. But when's the last time you got quiet with yourself? Yeah, I know, Sonia. You are running on empty. You've been through a lot of classes and you saying you fine, but you need to fill up. Who else? Anybody else? Sugar habits. Okay, Richard. What about those sugar habits? I love that because I got a sweet tooth too. And Reginald, realizing there are not enough hours in the day. And we all get the same amount of time, but you're right about that. I got day planner upon day planner. Where is my day planner? It's right here. And I still write down and still can't follow nothing. What the world? So, but that's a strategy I would offer. We're going to try to get into a groove where we can pause and acknowledge where we're actually at and really get better. So the next thing is we got to identify what must be changed. 92% fail to meet their goals. Why? Because they don't have any clarity. And so, clarity comes when you confront and not avoid. When you really get real with it. I had to come to the end of myself. I was depressed. I come from a successful family, like I told you, lawyers, educators, echelon, like VIP suites of folks, and like the Cokes and the Experience and the IBMs. And here I am. I'm going through. I shouldn't be like this. I've gone through. I got 2 masters. What's going on with me? But I wasn't fine. I had to come to the end of myself. I had to get real with it and identify what really needs to change. And so a key I would say is get clear with yourself. And it's not comfortable sometimes when you have to face and look in a mirror of who you are. I would go back to that day planner, Reginald. Evaluate your calendar and identify where your energy is being drained. And choose one relationship or a habit or a mindset to release this week. That would be my challenge for all of us. What do you really need to let go to make space for your breakthrough? What do we need to do? What are you pretending not to know or ignoring? Because you know something been nagging at you. What's draining your soul? And your soul is your mind, will, and your emotions. What is it? You might want to type in the chat, what do you need to release to move forward? It could be one thing. You can put it in your notes. You don't have to put it in the chat, but what do you feel that you want to do to release so that you can move forward in your purpose? The other thing is, let's visualize a new path. Visualization improves outcomes by 30+%, according to a Harvard study. So if you can see it, then you can believe it. And we were just talking with a sister right before this Zoom, seeing the outcomes, visualizing the breakthroughs. And then they started seeing it as well. And I'm sure that we've been into a lot of coaching calls and things, but this thing is true. If you can start seeing who you are, the best version of you, you can actually have it and believe it. And like I told you before, I'm a dreamer. I've always had dreams, and I'll be seeing stuff in those dreams. I mean, one of the famous speech we follow, I have a dream, for real. We started visualizing what it means to have a unified country. Again, I'm not going anywhere else with that, but just dreaming. What are you visualizing? So I would say, as a strategy, create a 60-second voice memo describing your ideal life and listen to it daily. Right now, when I was growing up, we didn't have all this fancy stuff. We had a pager, and I had to go to the 7-Eleven on the corner store and find a quarter to go in the payphone to answer the pager. I'm sure none of y'all know about that. Do y'all know about them pages? I had a pager. And so now we've got these phones. We can make recorded memos to ourselves. And you can just say something to yourself. Remind yourself, because why? You're going to live with yourself your whole life. Your voice will be the one that you're going to be listening to the most. It should be. And some people probably say, oh, it's insane for you to be talking to yourself. I think it's insane for you not to. That's just my opinion. You should be the biggest person feeding into your life. And people call it positive affirmations, whatever. Speak to yourself. Cancel out the noise of the people who don't know you. Why are you listening to them in the first place? They have not lived your life or walked your life. So I would say, as a strategy, create a 60-second voice memo. And again, visualize who you are. What does it really mean for you to be free and healed? What does that look like? The next part is, open yourself to transformation. 70% of transformation fails due to resistance. Our own resistance most time is that growth requires grieving what you're leaving behind. Imagine that. You have to grieve. You have to let go of all the old parts that don't satisfy you, that don't really serve you right now. Write that goodbye letter to that old version of you, even if you're today. I just turned 60. So my old version of 59 is not who I am at 60. I say goodbye to that person. And I'm saying hi to the new one. And I'm excited about that. Get excited. While we got breath in our body, you all just don't realize, having breath in my body, I am full of joy, because at one point I didn't. And that thing, who wakes up thinking somebody gonna choke you out and that could be your last day? None of us. None of us wake up that tragedy could knock at our door. Well, so I would just say, open yourself for transformation. Who would you be without fear or shame? Who are you if you could see yourself whole and healed? And one thing I would say, are you afraid of becoming your best version? Because sometimes fear would keep us shackled. Let's go into the T part now. Take action towards your new beginning. So what does that mean? What does that look like? Only 8% of people actually follow through without accountability, and it's good to have accountability. I want to welcome my accountability partner, Constance, that just joined. Thank you for showing up, for being there. Because bold faith is activated by bold steps. And it's scary sometimes. When I lost my job right before my retirement, right? Last year before my birthday in May, I decided I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And of course, the imposter syndrome and all this other stuff be speaking in your mind. But I was like, look, I'm not going to feed into that. Time is short. Like Reginald said, we sometimes you feel like you don't have enough time in the day, but I don't have time to feed into the doubts and the fears because I got a little bit of time left on this earth. I'm gonna make use of it. And so I would say drop one action in the chat that you're committed to do this week as an action plan that you could say that you're committing in the next 24 hours, something bold that's been nagging at you, but one little step. I'm not saying eat off the whole puzzle or fix the whole thing, just one thing. What's one thing that you know is necessary for you to move forward? Maybe you've been avoiding, it's been nagging at you. I didn't have to tell you, it's been on your mind. And put it in the chat. What do you feel? Let's see. Who's got one thing? Who's going to be bold enough to drop it? Having some hard conversations. You right about that. Hard conversations take bold steps. So, the pivot is going to prepare you, but being unleashed propels you. And pivot, it realigns your position, but unleashing activates your power. So once you've paused and identified and visualized and opened up and take action, now it's time for you to break free and break into being unleashed into your purpose. And let's talk about that. What does that really mean? Unleashed means no longer being bound by what broke you. It's the radical act of stepping boldly into your God-given identity, calling, and purpose. So it's full of activation, total alignment, living free. Who wants to be free? Let's talk about that. Unleash, understand your worth for the youth. 7 in 10 women report not feeling good enough. Your worth is your birthright, not your performance. We shouldn't have to be like we're always on the stage performing to find some value in our message or in our being. No. So what I would challenge everybody is to list 10 things that make you valuable beyond what might be on your resume or your accomplishments. Look in the mirror today. Actually look at yourself and say, I'm worthy as I am, flawed and all. And then how many of you are bold enough to drop in the chat my favorite color, a purple heart, that says that you believe you're worthy? You're reclaiming your worth today. Do you believe you're enough? Sometimes you might be going into a new endeavor. Let's say we're worthy. I'm going to drop in the chat. I'm worthy. Are you? Y'all can copy that purple heart, put it in the chat too. The next part is navigate through fear with faith. 60% of adults experience anxiety daily. So when I decided to become an entrepreneur, like I said, fear wanted to come in and step in, but I was like, forget this. Yeah, fear's going to be there as a backseat driver, but not the front seat passenger or even the main driver, not the chauffeur. I have the power to choose what I'm going to succumb to, and so do you. So I would say replace limiting beliefs with your liberating truth. What's really true about you? Just release that lie, let it go. There's a Disney movie my son can't stand called Frozen because the words, let it go, let it go. I believe that. Just let it go. Stop thinking about the cancel culture and what the naysayers say and what your mind might try to pop up in your mind like, I don't have enough credentials or I'm not qualified. Forget that. You are worthy and you're credentialed because you've lived your life. You own your own story, and your story is valuable for such a time as this. Somebody needs to hear it. So I need to hear it, if anything. So stop believing a lie. And then let's elevate. Elevate your mindset, which is number E, which is letter E. A growth mindset increases 34% of a person's success. And your thoughts, they direct your destination. So what you think about, what you sow into, whether in your mind, all of the things that you look at, what you hear about, that's going to be what your environment will start becoming. So instead of saying, I can't, hey, learn. I'm learning. I'm growing. It may be new. That's fine. I'm going to be an explorer. I'm so glad that the people who created Zoom didn't give up on their first, second, third try so that we could have an opportunity to talk today, to be today, to share one with another, to hear each other's stories from Australia, from New Mexico, from Arizona, from wherever you are in the world. So, what soundtrack, what loop is playing in your mind that's trying to, cloud out your best judgment, which is betting on you? Let's get rid of it. A, let's align with your purpose. Purpose-driven people live 7 years longer. I'm trying to get like the people who are at 100 and plus in my life. So I'm going to continue to move in purpose. Purpose brings pace and peace. So as an adult, let's audit our daily schedules. And does it really reflect what really matters most to you? When you look at what's on that day planner, what's on your calendar, what's on your Googles, what's on your Yahoo, what's on your Calendly, does it really reflect what you want to do, what your purpose and calling is, or is it just busy work? And maybe you need to do some auditing, do some weeding. It's okay. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you're ready to do that audit. Let's do that together. Let's drop that emoji in the chat. I am finding the fire emoji. Yes. Because sometimes we just got to reassess in this unleash mode. Thank you. Yes, I see you, Richard. We're going to talk about the sweet things afterwards, too. I'm just saying. And so the next thing is step into your next chapter. That's S. 1 in 4 people fear change more than failure. Imagine that, right? Faith will take you where fear will never lead you. So say yes before you're ready. Do it a mess. There's a coaching club I was a part of that Constance and I are a part of. And they say when you just step out and do stuff, do it a mess. And we have a funny story. We'll talk about that another time. But Constance and I did a podcast. I just met her and we did a podcast. Okay, podcasts are only supposed to be 30 minutes. So after the 4th hour of us being on this podcast, we up there cracking up laughing. This is the first podcast I ever did. So yeah, it was a mess. And we kept doing podcasts as a mess, but eventually it got better. And now I can do maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes, but just do it. It's just like when you say you're going to work out, you might not be able to lift those weights initially, but just keep being consistent with it. Just do it a mess. And then eventually it'll get better and you'll get stronger and you'll be able to achieve that what you want to do. So the next part is heal forward. And this was key for me personally. Forgiveness is key. I had to forgive that unknown assailant. Don't know who it was, never got caught, but I can't live with that mess in me. How many of us are dealing with unforgiveness, dealing with stress that we take on because somebody didn't treat us right? And every time that person's name come up in our mind, we feel something. Literally, you feel something in your throat, in your heart. It gives you that disease. It's a disconnect. Yeah, we just got to heal for it. Get real with it. Just let it go. Like we said before, forgive someone, even if that somebody is you. Say you did launch out and did that entrepreneurial job, or you did a project and you royally messed up. It was an epic failure. I've had many of those. It's okay because I feel like it was a part of the process. You get some lessons learned and you keep it moving. Don't dwell in the past. Just use it as a stepping stone and a building block. So don't also mistake being numb or anesthetized, thinking I'm healed, but you really just numb. You didn't really deal with it. The wound hasn't really been dealt with. And when the numbness and the anesthesia wears off, the pain is right there still. So, yeah, heal for it. E, embrace your evolution. Identity-based habits stick better than goal-based ones. So, embrace the next version of you. Shift your identity not to, I want to write, but I am a writer. Even if you only wrote one word in your diary that you've had for 6 months, you still wrote something. You did something prior to the 7th month before. So you are a writer. I am a great parent. I am a wonderful wife, a wonderful husband. I am a phenomenal kids coach. I am that person. I am a multimillionaire or billionaire. I'm that already. Live that, walk that, embrace that evolution. So, who are you becoming? And be that. D, declare your deliverance. Spoken word changes neural patterns and pathways. Like I said, we're going to be with us all our life. And as long as we are not muted, as long as we can, speak to ourselves, encourage ourselves, build ourselves up. This is all about health and wellness. And you might think I'm taking a different version because I'm not a medical doctor or a certified counselor. I'm just sharing a pathway that has helped me move through when shift happens. And I had to ask the now what, and it has become successful in my now what movement. So there we go. Declare your deliverance. What are you afraid to say out loud that could actually change everything? Once you do that, like I said, accountability, I got my accountability partner. She's hearing me say what I'm saying. And then she's going to come back to me after we have this meeting here and say, okay, what you doing? So those are the things that are important. Now, I want to just share really briefly, because I know I was only catered 30 minutes, but Sonia is not going to take up 30, so I'm just tap into a little bit of her time. Thank you for your graciousness. But I will share this. Part of my journey, remember I told you I came up with a musical family. My mother was a music teacher. She actually went to school with Roberta Flack. Yeah, I'm dropping names. And so music was a part of our life. And part of the brand paramedic, part of being resuscitated back to life was songs and was music. And when I was at my wit's end, when I did have a job, I had to drive across what's called, and if anybody knows anything about Virginia, we have a South Side and a peninsula right here in the military town, Hampton Roads. And I had to drive across from the peninsula to the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, and every day was a struggle. So maybe that's why that job didn't pan out, because every day I wanted to drive off that bridge after my attack. And it took two songs that was playing in the loop, the CD, yeah, I'm dating myself, the CD in my car to be able to keep me moving forward in this straight line and not veer off. And that was I Speak Life and Just Fine. I Speak Life by Donald Lawrence and Just Fine by Mary J. Blige. Let me tell you a little bit about what music will do to our mindset and just in everyday living. Music regulates cortisol and reduces stress. And that's according to the Mayo Clinic. And listening to 30 minutes of calming music daily can lower blood pressure and improve sleep, according to the NIH. And then movement combined with music improves emotional balance and mental clarity, according to John Hobson. So when I say find the soul song of your life, and that's part of what I actually do, it's not just something to be poetic. It's actually something that works. It worked for me, and if you all were coming in, you might have heard the song playing. And I love the power of AI. Reginald spoke about AI. I've tapped into that, and also I've been privileged to work with at least two of the people, well, three of the folks here, creating soul songs of their life. Coach Constance, who's on here, And she could probably type in the chat what her personal song of the life, if you don't mind typing in the chat. You see it on the screen, but you got her here in real person, in real timing. And Coach Sonia, same thing, was able to tap into something just by having a conversation and hearing her heartbeat and hearing her story, her journey, and be able to connotate that and shape it into a song of their life. Let's talk about music. Like, for instance, I'm a movie buff too, and I love Rocky. And imagine, you heard it, the theme song, Eye of the Tiger, Rocky running up them steps and finally get to the top and raising his hands. And then scene shifts. He's in the ring getting his butt beat. I'm just saying. He is getting knocked out. I don't curse, but y'all can put them in there if you want to. I'm sure that's what he felt. And then while he's flat faced on the mat, I hear that theme song. Dun, 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 dun. And then, okay, energy, adrenaline. It's like, I can push myself up off this mat. I can do this. And you know what he did? He got up off that mat. He started swinging. He started actually landing punches. He became the winner. Heavyweight champion of the world. And that's us all. And this is one of my theme songs. We'll probably play it later. But I write for me as well. I don't just write for other folks. I write for me to encourage myself when I'm going through. And one of them is called Unleashed. And so, those are what soul songs do in your journey, in your life lessons, moments. Sometimes you just need that extra push and encouragement to get you through. And music takes us places. I'm sure you all know. You think about your homecoming, you think about your first date, you think about your love, you got your theme song. Music takes you places. It could take you to a great place, or it could take you to a place of nostalgia, or it could take you to a place of strength. So those are things that I also believe in. So, last part, again, I asked the question, when shift happens, now what? What happens? What do you do? You pause, you pivot, you breathe, you become unleashed into your purpose. And when you do that, you can also get a soul song, a theme, your heartbeat, your message that gets you into your new beginnings, which become all of our witness. So if there's anything that might have resonated with any of you all today of what I've shared, I want to thank you for giving me the graciousness to do so. And if you'd like to learn more about what I do, or who I am, or what I engage in as a brand paramedic, when you're feeling flatlined and you need somebody to perform your own CPR to your life, you can check me out here. My website is the Thankful Revolution Legacy Group.com. You can scan it here using the QR code. But before I close, I just want to say again, thank you, Elizabeth and Elton, being phenomenal visionaries, to allow me this sacred space to share with you all in this health and wellness summit. Shift has happened for a lot of us, whether it's individually or globally. And it's going on maybe even right now. Some of us dealing with internet issues, so what are we going to do? How do we pivot? How do we become unleashed in our purpose? And maybe even get a song to boot to keep us moving forward. Because you know what? You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not behind. You're being positioned. You're not forgotten. You're being refined. And you can catch your breath. Once I was able to get out of that situation, catch my breath, I was able to pivot. I was able to become unleashed. I was able to make an impact, live with joy again, and become unstoppable. I'm going to drop in the chat myself a complimentary book. It's a pivot mindset. It's a playbook. And if you want to just complete it, go ahead and fill in the click the link it's a Google Doc. Just ask you for your name, your email, and we'll send the email to you. And then it just provides you a few questions, 5 questions, and then a video message that I shared about pivoting and mindset and just some tools and encouragement. And then again, you can reach me through going through that QR code or just hit me up. I'll also put in there how you can reach me in the chat as well. I am open now for questions. Who has questions for me? And look, I want to know more, Richard, about that sweet stuff. Come on, tell me, talk to me.
I'm here. Okay. I think just sugar was when I look back to all my years, what we didn't realize we were experiencing trauma, sugar was my go-to. So as I have become on this path of clarity, I still have a bit of a sweet tooth, but it's only about 5% of what it used to be. But again, sugar for a long time was the numbing that it gave your body. You don't realize it's an addiction as well. It does all kinds of crazy stuff, but still is. I mean, I love my like coated peanuts. So it's not as radical as it was, but I mean, it's I'd still like to say I could go down to almost maybe an apple a day.
I love that. I got to get to where you are when I grow up, so I won't have such an addiction to sugar. We might have to talk about that more so. And I appreciate you sharing that. Anybody else have any questions? Chris, Linda, Heather, any of you all have any questions? Any of you all relate to a shift happen moment in your life? Reginald?
Well, I can definitely relate in all capital letters, and I think you touched on it very nicely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, thank you all for this opportunity to share. Thank you, Pastors Elton and Elizabeth, for giving me this space just to share a little bit of my testimony with you all. And I want to recognize Sonia taking her time out from Australia to run the slides for me. I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you. Miriam. We appreciate your comments and presentation. Oh, awesome.